18 months in, I am sitting around this table, and I do see some serious deficiencies in the governance structures, and maybe we can address some of that here. But I think at the core of the problem is governance itself, and that's about people, us and others. And if we just address structures only, we will not get to the root of the problem. I'm very aware of the part-timerism of many of those in governance, not just at this table, but at other tables around local boards. It seems the pop-up politician is a popular role to play, but I think unless we address that, we are just tinkering with papers like that. But I'm still of a mind to support this, or at least in part. Yeah, we can transform the structures, and I look at Auckland in the last 4.5 years, and the Royal Commission's arrived and legislation's arrived, and our new package of structures of governing body, local boards, CCOs, etc. has arrived. But the bigger conversation about the transformation of governance to match all those prescribed structures has not occurred. And this is something I've conveyed in some of the workshops. At times I've been really quite underwhelmed with the rigour that is brought in debates and workshops and examination, interrogation of topics. I think it was first came to mind when we dealt with, I was 1 month in, the letters of expectation for CCOs came on the table. CCOs were a really good target in that first 3 years. They were beaten up regularly. And there was almost no discussion about the letters of expectation which were going to guide those SOIs going forward. And it really surprised me at that time, I was only 1 month in, how little application there was. I think we need to up our game, us. It's not just the structures. That is one of the failings as I see it. I see sometimes when we inquire into subject matters, the throwaway line when some members feel uncomfortably foreign, when something is presented, the throwaway line is, oh, we're not experts. And it's the dismissive. It's like, you've gone too far, I'm uncomfortable in this territory. For me, yes, there is a lack of clear portfolio leadership. You have allowed portfolio leadership. It's for the structure and the individuals to pick up on that. But we could improve upon that. I think it's glaringly lacking at the moment. It's clear with the mayor, and to a certain extent with the deputy mayor, but then there's a series of also-rans after that, is my feeling. I think the next council, if not this one, really needs to operate like a cabinet of leaders, and those leaders need to be publicly visible, they need to be the go-to leaders, and they need to be absolutely steeped in their subject matter. I don't get a sense that that is what we've got right now. And that's not a criticism of you as the Mayor, because the points you just made is you are allowing that to a certain extent, I think, and it's about picking up on that space that you provide. And I think I stress that this applies at the governing body and the local boards. Some are very good. Some of the local boards have portfolio leadership which shines a light on us, absolutely. And then some local boards are just going through the motions. One local board I read recently, there was an individual who was delighting in the fact that their local board, their monthly local board meeting was all over, done and dusted in 25 minutes. And that was the great outcome of the monthly meeting. So quality of governance at both governing body and local boards, for me, is the critical missing ingredient. Too many of us, I think, and I say us, me included, are relying upon the old operating models that we've maybe come out of, our former councils, And I don't think those old operating models fit the new Auckland. All the other packaging around us has changed, but we haven't changed with it. So we've got to upskill ourselves. We've got to undergo professional development to match this new role of being governing body members. For me, that's a massive hole at the moment. It's a chasm. And so I am probably likely to support this in part. I'm not sure which parts at the moment. And I'll be mindful of the amendments there, but I really want to stress that this is about governance first, structures second. And the governance is about us, not about the packaging. I'm a little concerned that this validates the invisible councillor. This allows them to exit more readily. And that's what worries me here.
Okay, right, thank you. Now, look, councillors, I think everyone's had a fairly good say. Councillor Quicks.
Just a question.
Oh, yeah.
Just a question for you, Mr. Mayor. And, I understand your statutory obligation in terms of setting up the committees and the personnel on those committees. And I would just ask you if you would consider a amendment or an additional recommendation that we get a report back from your office and from Stephen Town around setting up portfolio leadership. You know, I heard what you said before, Mr. Mayor, and I took exception to saying that we didn't get any results at Manukau around those portfolios. And I want to remind you that as the chair or the portfolio leader for community safety, along with yourself and with your support, we were able to see a decrease of 70% of graffiti in Manukau. And that was because of portfolio leadership. It wasn't a committee, it wasn't a gab fest. There was also a rollout of limited speed zones around schools, again, from my safety portfolio leadership. And I don't want to blow my own trumpet, I'm a humble person, as you know. But I think it would be appropriate for us, given the fact that now we're seeing some support for portfolio leadership, that a report in a timely manner would be appropriate and to give us something that we can refer back to.
Councillor Quacks, you know, what I've sort of attempted to reflect is that, in fact, there are portfolio leaders in this council already, and I really think that most people generally get that, and really this is the first and best attempt to address some of the concerns that were expressed. And it's not my intention as the leader of this council, the mayor of the city, to allow any further debate on the structure of this organisation. We just got to get on with it. You know, this is it. You know, if you are not mindful that you want to take these changes, then, you know, I think I've presented the very best of all. I mean, variously everyone around this table is not happy with some part of it. So you'll take that from this report what you will. But I've tried to find the balance and in particular address the concern that Councillor Hulse most appropriately highlighted, and that is the lack of the time in your agenda. And we've tried in particular to address that. So, councillors, I think we've sort of had a good enough crack at this, and as I say, it comes off thus far.
Excuse me for interrupting. So you won't entertain?
No.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay, look, councillors, we've got a couple of amendments here. and I'm proposing that we put those first, and then we go to the substantive motion, A, B and C, and then I'm proposing to put D as a separate, which is sort of as an aside anyhow, and it's not specifically relating to the report. So we've got, first of all, the proposal from Councillor Watson and Walker, re the Arts, Culture and Events Committee. I'll move that. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? No. Oh, it was division. Okay.
Councillors, we're doing the division on the amendment E in front of you. Your Worship.
Aye.
Councillor and I. Councillor Brewer. No. Councillor Casey.
Yes.
Councillor Cashmore. No. Councillor Darby. Yes. Councillor Filipina. Aye. Sorry, can you repeat that, Councillor? Aye. Aye. Councillor Fletcher. No. Deputy Mayor Hulse. Aye. Councillor Crum. Yes. Councillor Penrose. Aye. Councillor Quacks. No. Councillor Stewart. No. Councillor Wayne Walker. Yes. Councillor Watson. Yes. Councillor Webster. No. Councillor Wood. No.
It's carried 9 to 8. Okay, I'll put the second.
Just bear with me, Your Worship. We haven't got a seconder, and Councillor Walker has actually.
Oh, is there a seconder for that? Yeah, it's Councillor Casey.
Neither can do it.
Neither of you can do it because you spoke before you moved it. Can I have a seconder for Councillor Wayne's?
Councillor Wayne actually can't move it either.
Yeah, Councillor Wayne, you can't move it either. I'm getting a lot of instruction here at the moment. Is there anyone who would be prepared to move and second, Councillor, the environment, climate change? No, Julie lapses. I'm going to put A, B and C as a group. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Is against? No. Right. Yep.
By division, councillors, A, B and C. Your Worship.
Aye.
Councillor and I. No. Councillor Brewer. No. Councillor Casey.
No.
Councillor Cashmore.
Yes.
Councillor Darby.
Yes.
Councillor Filipina.
Yes.
Councillor Fletcher.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hulse.
4.
Councillor Crum.
4.
Councillor Penrose.
Yes.
Councillor Quacks.
Yes.
Councillor Stewart.
Yes.
Councillor Wayne Walker.
No.
Councillor Watson.
No.
Councillor Webster.
Yes.
Councillor Wood.
Yes.
Carried 12 to 5.
Thank you, councillors. And then we put E, is it, what's? D. Councillor Cathy. I'll move that. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? No. I'll move that. That's passed on the voices. It's myself and Councillor Penny Hulse as the movers. Right. Councillors, we'll keep moving briskly along. Move on to item 15.